Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back for this week's episode of the INNsider Gaming News Talk Show. Welcome. Today we're joined by myself, Captain Tutu, Drunk Canadian, and House Hendo. Welcome, everybody. So, got a lot of stuff, random stuff that's happened this week. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, some I want to call bullshit stuff because there is just some kind of really weird, whack stuff that's going on in gaming, including, of course, some cool news, and then some other just really odd stuff for the most part.
Dumb news?
Dumb news. There is dumb news. There is some of the stuff that is just quite literally dumb news. Like, it's the only way I can describe it. So let's start with what we usually...
You're not wrong.
Let's start with what we usually start with. What have we been playing this week? What's been one new and exciting this week? So let's start with you, Captain.
I can field this one. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait. Actually, DC, go ahead.
I've been playing nothing.
Nothing. That's a quick update. Captain, what about you?
So last week we talked about Destiny 2 Forsaken and how I was skeptical of it, and I kind of asked for your thoughts. And I waited this long because I wanted to see like the general reaction, how people perceived it, and they played it, and they did the raid and everything. So I waited until last night. I played it for the first time, and I've heard really good things about it, but my God, I was blown away that it's gotten this great. I feel like if it's this consistent, it'll be even better than the Taken King as far as like an expansion. It's the story is so good and so engaging. It's better than Destiny's ever been as far as story wise.
They killed off the only good character.
Yeah, which is weird, but
like it's not Destiny without Cade.
They introduced some really cool characters in this one though. And so I hope they'll stick around. But yeah, it is weird they killed off Cade. A little sad, but
I think they
killed him off. They killed off Master Chief in Halo.
Yeah, or when they canceled Firefly. You know what I mean? Like, it's on the same level.
Because it was Nathan Fillion, too.
Go back above and beyond.
Yeah.
I think they did Cade because it had the most impact. It would have the most impact to players.
Because they knew that was the only character people liked. Exactly. Like, well, how can we stir up the
community? I hate that they spoiled it, though, because I feel like it would have been so much better and much more surprising had they saved that for the actual game, because it opens like with that, and then you kind of... It's really cool because it opens that way, but you kind of go back earlier to like how it all happened and how he got to that position of being killed off. And like that opening sequence is really, really dope. It's like one of the best like cinematic sequences ever in Destiny. And it's so good. I could gush on it for ever and ever. I'm gonna play it some more today. Hopefully me and Tommy will get to play it. One thing I want to shout out about it is the music, the soundtrack for Forsaken. I will say so far it's like one of the best gaming soundtracks I've ever heard. Like it's up there with like Halo and Metal Gear. Like every track that I'm hearing from this, like the way it correlates to like what you're doing. And there's even one part where there's this boss that's kind of like saying some things and they kind of like correlate the music to like what he's saying, which is crazy. It's so good. I'm in love with it so far.
Oh yeah, no.
See, and I was kind of sad with it. Maybe like because I skipped all the storyline. So like the last thing I played was probably Destiny 2 on my console, which was dumb. I don't know why I didn't get it on PC. And like I just skipped all the story. And the thing that kills me is the grind now. Like I know it's cliche because like everybody's like Destiny 1 the grind was better, and then Destiny 2 was too casual. But now like the soft cap, hard cap thing is just killing me.
You played Forsaken? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, yeah, like the soft cap of whatever 500, and then like the hard cap of 600. And like I don't know, maybe it's just been happening to me, but like my power score will be like, or whatever, like light level will be like 550 or something, and then I'll get like a 540 drop, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it's a little weird because I know like there's like once you hit that kind of cap, there's supposed to be like specific things you have to do to get better gear. Like of course I know one of them is the raid, and
well the raid, and then like
yeah.
any of the bounties in the Dreaming City, but. That being said, like even if you go do like I don't know, like a daily heroic mission, like that's still supposed to drop like something that's at least one light level higher, but like not lower. And it's happening to a lot of people where like shit's dropping lower than their overall score.
Oh, weird.
Which I don't know. I think it's kind of weird.
That seems really weird.
Maybe it's working as intended, but to me, it just seems like the grind should always be giving you like at least one better.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Destiny's been known to screw people over, so hopefully they're not at their old tactics again. But
yeah,
maybe it's a console thing. Like maybe that's why PC is better. I don't know.
So what about you, House? What have you been playing?
Well, I tried out that new Star Control game by Starduck the other day, and it was pretty good. It's a RPG game. It's really goofy. It kind of has that like how No Man's Sky had that really cartoony feel when it first released. Mm-hmm. They kind of have that, but it's actually complete.
Nice.
Like really good comedy writing, really good aliens, really engaging storyline. And it's kind of procedurally generated. Like the world goes about its thing, even when you're not even that side of the galaxy. So you can come across like stranded ships, pirates just going through systems you already cleared earlier, just because they're traveling around and stuff. So they create a very live universe. It's definitely a great successor to like their Galaxy Civilizations franchise, because now it's kind of like that, except you're like just one of the ships.
And you're that's just Galactic Civilizations. That's their thing, right? Galactic Civilization.
They did Galciv and all that stuff, and now they're going into the RPG.
I kept thinking of Stellaris, but that's not them. That's Paradox.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a cartoony Mass Effect 1 with a lot of humor.
Ooh, speaking my language now.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Mass Effect 1 now, you had to like land on every planet and like go around it and explore shit. And you like discover new races, new factions all the time, minor factions. It's just like that. And it can get kind of grindy, but it also has a little bit of a Spore aesthetic that kind of just makes it like very vibrant and colorful to look at. Mm-hmm. And the comedy writing is on point. Like you'll come across like little furry aliens. They're like, oh, it's the aliens we heard about that don't wish us imminent death.
Oh, nice.
Like they even put that in the trailer, and that's a literal scene in the game. It's just funny as shit. Like you'll have random like 6-limbed aliens hitting on you and shit. Like when you get like certain levels on, like
which appendage are we gonna try to get you at this time?
Like it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. It can be grindy at some points, but besides that, it's actually really fun, engaging. The story's fun.
Nice.
And it's kind of like you're like humanity's first interstellar ship. So
what's this game called?
Star Control, right?
Yeah, Star Control. Yeah, it just got released the other day on Steam.
Yeah, we were trying to see if we could get do a review of that here soon.
Better question is Destiny 2 on Steam, or is it
Battle.net?
Oh, on Battle.net.
No hackers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they also have their own launcher for it too. You can go through that option like directly through Bungie. Like
depends if you consider Titan skating hacking or cheesing or not.
Yeah, because I got Destiny 2 in the Humble Bundle, and they had 2 different launcher options. One was Battle.net, and one was like something that was like done by Bungie itself.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I was watching Summit like lose his fucking mind over Titan skating, and he really like kind of compared it to 1.6 B hopping in Counter-Strike and how bad it was. I didn't even know how to Titan skate, but then I watched it. And it's pretty overpowered. It's like you can get to places way faster than everybody else.
I'm not really. I know some is into the PvP. I'm not really into the PvP aspect. Although I meant to check out Gambit. I still will check out Gambit because Gambit looks.
Oh, dude, Gambit's
Gambit's
the best part of
not
PvP.
really
It's not really PvP.
PvP.
Yeah,
It's like PvEP. It's weird.
It's only
The
PvP.
worst is when you're trying to get the ace of spades because you have to kill invaders with a hand cannon. And I spent forever invading their side in Gambit and killing people with hand cannons. And I'm like, why the fuck isn't this counting? But you have to kill when people invade into your side. And it's like super cancerous. I don't know. I've gotten super unlucky with it.
Sounds a little weird.
You have to just all you gotta do is kill 5 dudes that invade your side. And I've like never done it.
Nice.
I'll like go over to their side and I'll wipe their whole team. Not a problem. As
Do
soon
they
as
have like
my
weapon
side,
restrictions like that for a whole bunch of other goals too?
that's the only one I've seen. But it's part of the Cade dying quest. Like you find his pistol. Well, spoilers. You find his pistol, the ace of spades, and you gotta like do a couple quests, and then like I think the final one is to tune the ace of spades to you. You have to kill 5 players that invade your side in Gambit.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you get.
Well,
the
that
ace of
actually
spades.
sounds like an achievement, so I kind of like that.
I kind of liked it too until I got super unlucky about it. So now I'm just complaining because for the sake of complaining.
What console do you play Destiny 2 on?
Xbox,
Oh, okay.
which I like. Honestly, I'm probably not going to play it anymore. I wish I had it on PC, and this is the problem I have like playing from console to PC is I feel like I'm playing with one arm tied behind my back using a controller. Like I want to be able to hit like tighter shots, and I just can't because I'm using the stupid joysticks, and I suck.
Yeah.
Right.
Hand cannons specifically are like so amazing on PC because you don't even have to aim. You just
it's like natural. You're like headshot.
Yeah.
Like even with the auto aim on console, like it has the aim assist, and it's pretty heavy. Like I don't know. That's why I still miss.
I feel like it's good though for a console. Bungie knows their stuff, of course, with consoles. You know, coming from Halo, so it's good. But still, PC is just above all else.
Well, and I'm sure this is just me
race.
being used to PC. That like if I had been playing this on console, I probably would have no complaints because I'd be so used to it.
Yeah.
But I know I can hit like shots where I like 180 flick my wrist and like smoke a dude, and like now I'm on console and like turning like it's like I'm on 1 speed trying to turn around, and it's the worst.
You know those.
I'm sure you didn't need the demo, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get on this week's.
I needed the demo.
Just like,
Let's get on this week's first start of the news. One of them, I was kind of interested in hearing about it, and they're kind of everybody's following suit in Nintendo's thing about releasing classic mini consoles. So they're doing it with the PlayStation Classic, which is coming with 20 preloaded games, but they're not saying what aside of like the first few games, which is kind of weird because like Nintendo, when they announced theirs, they're like, here's our 20 games or 25 games or whatever the hell it was.
I thought it was 150 on the NES Classic. I thought it was loaded, wasn't it?
No,
I
it's like
think
25.
it was about the same. Yeah, like 25,
Actually, here,
maybe
let me
30.
grab it. Let me grab it and find out.
Oh wait, you have it? Oh my god!
Look, as long as
What-
one of those 20 games is Gecko Man, I'm cool.
Yeah,
What I really wish they would do with the PlayStation one is like, do you guys remember the PS1, like spelt one, and it had like the little screen
30.
and it was portable?
So here it is on screen.
Yes, I
It's
remember
30.
that.
That's what they should reintroduce.
So
Just have it be like have a.
Oh
hard
yeah,
drive
I
in it.
remember those. Toys R Us was still open when those came out.
Yeah, 30,
Yeah.
30 for the regular. 30 for the regular, and then the super.
Dude, is that box unopened?
It's on no, both of them are unopened. They're collectors. They're
What
not
is
fucking,
wrong with you?
They're not meant to be played. And then I don't know what it is for the super, but the super is also here. But
He'll be dropping those on eBay in 10 years, folks.
so yeah, I got both. I scored
It's
both
got
of them.
Super Mario
There's
World.
rumors about a N64 Classic this year too.
Oh, dude, I'd
Dude,
be
if I
all
could have
over that.
if I could have Mario 64, I would be done. I would
Give
never
me
play another
Conquer.
game.
Give me Conquer on the N64 one. Hell yeah.
Or GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Fuck, GoldenEye has
oh
to
my
be
God.
there.
Licenses would be hard for that one. But I feel like the PlayStation is still like sort of the same thing. You know, everybody kind of has like their defining game for these consoles. Like, I feel like
PlayStation would be Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that's on
Listen,
there.
that's-
whatever comes on the PS1, it just has to include the Small Soldiers game. You need that.
I was saying Legend of Dragoon. Like, they have to include Legend of Dragoon. Like,
But even that, like Final Fantasy VII, like when PS1 or PS launched, like Final Fantasy was like their huge title, and Metal Gear.
Yeah, so like the games they've announced so far is Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, which I have no idea why the fuck that's there, Ridge Racer Type 4, which I also don't understand why that's there, Tekken 3, I understand that, and Wild Arms. That's the only games they've announced out of the 20 so far, and everybody else.
Well, Metal Gear.
I understand Wild
Can
Arms.
we get Metal Gear? Like,
yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I really want.
People are really vying for Metal Gear.
The problem with Metal Gear, though, is that they remade Metal Gear Solid on PS2. You guys remember that? It was the exact same game, but like the remastered version where you could aim first person and all that stuff. Did you guys ever play that one?
Yeah, I did.
I think that's going to make it difficult to bring back the original Metal Gear Solid because the PS2 version was way better because it had like Sons of Liberty controls and graphics, but it was Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. I'm hoping I'm hoping for Legend of Dragoon personally. Like that's the only game. Like if there was another game they remade, I wish they would just bring that one back.
That was the one where you started like in a forest or something, right? And then there was like
and you get the dragon stone and you get the armor that flies and everything. They're all based on like their mythical dragons in the world.
Yeah, that was actually a really good game.
Oh, dude, it was one of the in terms of RPGs, it's still like the best and greatest in my opinion because it had like the coolest story. The animations in it, like in terms like the cutscenes and stuff, were like they're still made by who is that company? Blitz or whatever, the one company that makes all the really nice cinematics now. So they did their cinematics back then for it, and dude, it was just so good. And plus,
I have an off-topic question for you, Tommy.
What?
Does the Super Nintendo Classic have Chrono Trigger?
I can tell you.
Because in my opinion, that's the best RPG of all time.
On the Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah, it was Super Nintendo.
I think I had Chrono Trigger. Didn't that like
No.
release around the same time Final Fantasy Tactics did?
Chrono Trigger? I don't know.
No, it
I
does.
think it was older.
It does, however, have
my
Final
God.
Fantasy. It has Final Fantasy 3, Mega Man X,
of course.
Secret of Mana, or Mana, Super Mario
It has
Kart.
Secret of Mana? No way.
Yeah. Super Metroid, Super Punch Out, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Yoshi Island, Star Fox 2, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World.
Oh my god!
Oh, break that open!
So many
because of Star Fox.
Dude, we gotta play that.
Open that box, man. Open it.
Wherever you live, I'm
and
coming over.
Castlevania. And it's got
me
Castlevania
and DC are coming over. We're opening that fucking box, man.
Whether you want
I know,
to
like
or not.
I literally got him.
No, I'm playing
even,
Star Fox.
I haven't even touched him yet. Like, there's just like both of them are still.
I can see how shiny it is because it's all the wrapping.
I know, same thing with this one. It's like.
Yeah, we're coming.
I don't know
DC,
how you how you haven't opened that. I couldn't resist. Like even if I was doing what you're doing, I'm like I'm gonna hang on to these till they're worth like crazy amounts of money. I couldn't resist.
Oh no, I wasn't even for the crazy amount of money. There's just a collector's thing for me.
Man, when those came out, my buddy brought me with him to Toys R Us because they had the two per person limit. So he brought me to buy another two, and he actually kind of had to like tackle me in the parking lot to get the two out of my arms. I'm like, nah, I actually want to keep these now, dude.
I'll keep these for myself.
I'm like,
did you pay for them with your money? Then they're yours.
Right. hey, I bought them, buddy. Hey.
Yeah, like, these are mine now, motherfucker.
I like with PlayStation, not revealing their full lineup. It kind of it builds hype more because everybo's like, what's coming, what's next. But
do you think there'll be crossplay between like the SNES Classic and?
Wow.
I had to. I'm sorry.
But it's also like a double-edged sword because everybody has their own defining game for this console, and if their game isn't chosen, of course people are going to go online, they're going to complain this and that. But I do like the idea of us waiting and seeing what's going to be revealed next, and
it's coming out in December. It's not coming near any of the big titles.
Though, PlayStation, it's hard to narrow down like what is like the iconic PlayStation 1 game.
Exactly.
Because like for everybody it's different. Whereas like you can look at like the Super Nintendo and everybody played GoldenEye, or the N64. Everybody played GoldenEye. Everybody loved like Super Mario 64.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie, like everybody knows those titles. Same with like Super Nintendo is like A Link to the Past, like Super Mario World. Like those were huge titles. And then you look at PlayStation 1,
there was a lot. There was a lot.
Yeah, like
there was a lot.
I was one of the Odd World players, so that community was huge.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's so many titles.
Riot.
There's so many titles that it was like, well, is that their iconic game or is it this? Like for me, it's Final Fantasy VII, but for other people, like it's Legend of Dragoon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's all these different, or like
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be dope on here, especially
Resident
having the
Evil
two controllers.
Dude, the last Twisted Metal they released on PS3 actually wasn't bad at all. It was actually really good.
Actually, no, I just thought of this. If they don't release like Resident Evil on this PS1, they're probably gonna get a fucking shit fit.
Oh, dude, yeah, Resident Evil 1.
That was like, that was like one of the major games for PS1. That like launched the console like in the early 2000s. Everybody's like, oh, we gotta play Resident Evil. That street with the fucking broke down bus. Everybody remembers that street.
Yep. And
I think
especially
the other
with
issue
RE2.
too, with trying to come up with their game list, I guess, is like if you look on Steam, you can get a lot of places like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. All that stuff is on Steam. So like, what titles do you want to put on there when you're trying to gauge like what's already available for people to try and get people to buy your console, or what's coming exactly, right? So like, the danger with like the N64 one too is like you can already get a lot of those games. So they almost have to make like a list of games that like you can't normally get to kind of boast the console sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of a side note too, I feel like that's why Nintendo is like, they don't really have their their virtual console for the Switch, is because, they're kind of banking on these classic systems to selling their games through that.
Yeah.
That's actually my chief complaint about the Switch. Like I love everything about the Switch, but like their virtual console is terrible. Like on 3DS, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You can get like Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, pretty much anything. And then you go to the Switch and you're like, man,
Maybe that's
let me just download Mario 64. Nope, can't happen.
maybe that's why they're delaying it, because it's so good on the 3DS still, and they still think that's a viable solution. But I don't know how they didn't predict though that the Switch was going to overtake the 3DS because of how good a portable console that the Switch is. I was super skeptical.
What was it, last year or the year before? They were competing with themselves for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came out late. Like other games are already like a shoe-in, and then Switch launches with, what was it, Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and both those games were competing with each other.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I was impressed. Like I was very skeptical when I first heard the news on the Switch way back, a couple years ago when we heard about it, and then I was like, this looks like the dumbest thing ever. And then I get it finally, and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty unique. Like, I like this. This is easy to carry around. Like, in fact, I kind of wish I got more playtime for it. I actually set up a thing so I could play it here, like, with everybody, too. Like, I still have Bad North I have to play. What is the Wizard of Legend mini Metro that just came out also recently? The Messenger. The company was actually...
Messenger.
Company was actually...
I'm surprised with the Switch is, like, how good, like, Skyrim and Doom are on it.
Oh wow!
Dark Souls too.
Those are games that are like pretty graphically intensive, and like the Switch runs them like awesome.
You know what? I haven't invested in a Switch yet, but now you mentioned Doom, I might just take the jump.
Well, Smash Brothers was the selling point for me. I was like, Smash Brothers, fuck yeah, I'm there.
I was going to say this.
Or their
new
Pokemon type.
Went out with like Nintendo switching their like gaming platform continuously, like the physical thing. I think
their last
Switch
two
is similar to the U. It is similar because the U
was
like
bowed
a
out
thing
around
too.
the U time when it came to buying Nintendo consoles. So
I think the big difference between the U and the Switch is like you just plug your Switch in and you go. Like you're on your TV
had,
now.
Like failed messaging.
The U is weird.
Marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just weird, and it was like the halfway point between the Switch and the 3DS, and it just it just didn't. I don't think they should have waited.
Yeah, if they really wanted to kind of capitalize on that market, but it was weird because that console was them figuring out what they really wanted to do, ultimately, which we see the product of that now, which is the Switch.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that a portable gaming system like the PlayStation Vita, which is essentially what the Switch is, but a way better version, is competing with like $1,000 PCs and like the big heavy hitter consoles, and it's this little portable like thing, and it's just
I took it on the airplane.
Doing it really well.
I was playing on the airplane on the way out to PAX a couple weeks ago, and that was my entertainment to and from PAX.
I might be really dumb too, because we have so many of these like consoles that we get that are like limited edition consoles and whatnot, like the Spider-Man one that just came out. But I quickly pre-ordered the new Switch Pokemon console, and I don't even need it. I already have a Switch, but just to have like those Pokemon decals on it and the Pokemon like Joy-Cons, like I really want that.
I was kind of wanting
the Smash one?
The Smash one.
Actually, I just threw some decals on mine. I'll be right back.
He's like, let me show you mine.
Let me show you all the Canadian Leafs I put on mine. There's a leaf on this one, It's
while
on
we're talking about some of the PlayStation news in terms of the mini consoles and other stuff, PlayStation now added the ability to download PS2 games on your PS4, which is kind of cool.
PS4 and PS2 games, because before it was only just PS3.
Oh, and also,
wait, download
also
PS4, well, you could download
Sony...
PS4 games before. What the fuck?
No, they're available through PlayStation now. So basically, you get it's all like it's almost like
look at that.
Xbox.
That is sick.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome.
And it's got it on the front, like the joysticks and stuff.
Yes,
all, like,
I saw that.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
That is dope. So it was funny. I didn't realize this until the employee at Best Buy told me. Like when I got my Switch, if you bought like the red and blue one and you bought the extra controllers, they actually give you the opposite color so you can match all red or all blue on each side. And I was like,
oh shit,
that's amazing. I'm like, okay, well that made the console purchase easier. And then because I was gonna buy extra Joy-Cons anyway, so I could play with like my little niece and nephew that were visiting at the time. So I'm like, now I have 4 controllers, and you can when you match them up with the actual thing, they're actually one red controller, one blue controller.
Did you notice that? I don't know what those controllers are made of, but those batteries last for goddamn ever.
Yeah, they're really good.
Like whatever technology they're throwing into that, they need to like put that into Xbox controllers and like PlayStation controllers, because that shit, like I've never charged them. Never.
And the rumble is crazy for the Switch too, which is like insane that they last so long with that rumble.
Yeah,
actually they probably put more into the console controllers than the console. It's weird.
What were you gonna say, House?
I was gonna say on a little side note, Sony is actually ending the production of one of their consoles, one of their handhelds.
We should have put that in.
Yeah, officially next year they will be ending manufacturing in Japan of all PS Vitas, and they have announced nothing about replacing it or doing next gen. Looks like they completely have capitulated to Nintendo's dominance with the 3DS.
And Switch.
The Vita is weird because the Vita is pretty much what the Switch is now, it was what the Switch is now, and it's just weird how people didn't get onto Vita, but they're so.
I don't think the Vita had the hitting power of the Switch.
Well, the Japanese
titles on the Vita were like
the Japanese version of the Vita was a hard hitter, though. I know a few people that got imported Japanese versions, and it was a lot better than the Western version. Hands down.
But the Switch is the same everywhere. You know what I mean? Like that's the big difference. There's not like different. Like there's not like different versions. Like you buy a Switch, it's the same Switch, and it's wicked.
Yeah.
And then Rito buys is like, wait, you need to charge the Joy-Cons? Exactly. Like they never die.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're immortal.
Yeah, Vita was region locked, right? I think that was another thing too.
Yeah,
and like Switch, you can create like accounts for Japan or wherever as well.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, it kind of makes sense to just kind of like take a back burner to like the Switch, because like if you're already focusing on your main console, which is a non-portable console, and then to launch another console, like I just think you're dividing too much of your stuff to compete with something like Nintendo.
They released it to be able to play your PS4 and PS3 games remotely. It was supposed to be like the remote play thing. That's like they wanted you to play anywhere with their two consoles.
Really work that good.
And it was very selective on the companies that wanted to support it, because they didn't want their stuff leaked out and all this other stuff, because it opened up.
Yeah, they're very protective about their shit. Yeah, it handicaps the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So which is why the Switch works so good, because like that's their focus. Like any game, you just plug it on the thing, it's on your TV, and then you want to go to bed, you just pick it up and go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, Sony's always been the more cold, more like money. Like, who doesn't remember the fiasco with Sony Online Entertainment when it freaking like canked EverQuest and just ruined a bunch of shit for people?
Yeah, I was there. I was there at the company around that time that they did it, and even the employees were complaining. Like, it wasn't even just the community after, it was like the employees complained throughout the process of making the damn game.
Yeah.
They're like, what are the producers doing? Like, you guys are fucking idiots. Don't do this to the well, no, we really think this is gonna. No, dude, stop. Just stop. Please stop. Same thing they did when they released the NGE for Star Wars Galaxies. Half of the company very well knew that it was going to kill the game.
Yeah, well, Jedi's basically killed Galaxies.
Well, yeah, because I mean they were crazy overpowered, and it was so hard to get to it. It was just all this like prerequisite shit to get to it. Get out! Damn it! It's like cat. It's under me.
You actually bought the Pokemon version of the Switch.
Yeah, the
Eevee and
yeah.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Where they're on like
you could just
dock.
get the decals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like just
$10 on Amazon.
I know my wife's super excited about when that comes out because the functionality of like how it switches, like links up with your Pokemon Go account.
Oh yeah.
Here's the first Pokemon that lets you play co-op too throughout the whole story.
Yeah. I'm just excited about importing my Pokemon Go Pokemon that I caught into my Nintendo Switch and like using them there.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. Going into next news, Gundam Breaker's finally coming to PC, to Steam next week, which is super exciting.
Yes, it is, and I just found out about that today from you.
Yeah, and I was pretty excited because I was like, everybody's been wanting like a Gundam game on PC forever and a day, and they've never done it. It's always been a console thing, and they're finally giving it up for that one. I'm super excited about seeing it. I'm curious to see how it does and what ends up happening with it, but yeah, we'll see what goes from there.
There's this Gundam game that someone in my stream keeps telling me about. That's I think in Japan only. Is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
This is the same one, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the one that everybody's been talking about because it was a Japan exclusive, and it was only then it became a console exclusive in the United States, and now it's coming to Steam finally.
Oh, I also heard like the new Dead or Alive Volleyball is going to be a Japan exclusive itself.
I'm okay with that. I don't care about it.
I feel bad though for all the 14-year-olds. Like, don't you remember being 14 playing Dead or Alive Volleyball? You're like, this is great. I feel bad for them.
Why were you doing that when you were 14? What was so appealing about it?
Boobs.
Boobs. Yeah.
Boobs.
As
he looks freshman, dude. What the hell was more important?
The next big one is Sea of Thieves expansion Forsaken Shores is being delayed again because of memory issues, and I don't even think. Going back at this article, I don't even think they released it. Oh yeah, so it's releasing now on September 27th, so it's gonna be coming out this next week. But still, the fact that this game's been plagued by like a lack of content, and then every one of their content has been delayed because of it, it's just.
Dude, you can just go on Reddit and look at all the pictures of people like, check out all my dank loot, and like they have screenshots of like their ship full of loot, and it's like, yeah, because you're playing on empty servers. Like nobody's playing that fucking game. Like it's so broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so over Sea of Thieves at this point.
Dude, there's very simple things they could add to fix that game. Like I know they're all about like sideways progression or whatever. So like you're not actually getting anything, but just like add any sort of stats. Add PvP stats. How many players have you shot? Longest headshot. Anything to like throw in a little bit of competitiveness. You don't even have to make forward progression. Just stats or a leaderboard or like who's the most deadly pirate out there, who's killed the most amount of people. You just add that and people would start flooding back into that game.
No, easy.
Yeah, I tried it out and I don't know. I had the same issues you were just talking about, DC. I just couldn't get into it. I was like kind of mad at Samwise.
I almost made it to Pirate Legend. Like that's how much I played that game, and then I was just like, is this all there is? Like, I'm just going to keep doing the same fucking missions and go capture pigs that die instantaneously once I put them in crates because they still can't fix that. Like, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I fully regret. Like, I hate to say this to Rare because Rare is one of my favorite like game companies, but I fully regret buying the game. I really wish I had just played it on the Game Pass instead of buying it.
But it's another situation where like they were just pressured into releasing, right? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Like they could have added so much more to that game, and it's like, nope, we got to release it. And like none of their beta testing stuff went properly. Like it was plagued with fucking problems, and they just released it anyway.
So if you go,
it's like No Man's Sky all over again.
Yeah, except worse on a bit. It's like almost on a bigger scale because Rare is much more known than Hello Games was.
Yeah, like Hello Games had a fallback excuse, like we're a tiny little group. Like Rare was
just
huge
making mobile games and shit.
Yeah, and then the fact is that Rare is still this big and still has released only so little content. I mean, you take Black Wake, for example. Black Wake is only a development studio of 25 people, and they've got 7 times more content than Sea of Thieves does.
Black Wake's a lot more fun.
And Black Wake's a hell of a lot more fun.
Yeah, you can shoot people 60 feet in the fucking air. Who doesn't love that?
And the funny thing about that is, like, we talk about like how they're like everybody's screaming content. Like Black Wake, there's no progression. There's nothing. It's just funny, hilarious PvP. And like I think you level up your pirate captain rank, and you can get some cosmetics. But like it has less technical content than Sea of Thieves, and people were like, "Fuck Sea of Thieves."
Well, yeah. What do you now? You have like fort battles. You have all this other like the PvP on like the large galleon style ships is way bigger. I mean, for the fact that you can have 25 people on a ship and doing stuff is like amazing.
Especially when you're the captain and you're trying to like organize it all and you like get everything into the different types of shot. Like that's the other thing too is like Sea of Thieves, you have cannonballs. There's no chain shot. There's no chaser cannons. There's no variety.
There's no grappling hook shots or nothing like that. Like all this.
And ultimately, the problem with Sea of Thieves is it comes down to you want to have PvP to have fun, but like nobody will fight you unless they don't have treasure. So the only people trying to fight each other are the people that don't have treasure, and the only reason to try and fight is to gain treasure because there's no PvP stats. So like essentially, people are just running away from each other the entire time they're playing.
Yeah.
You guys just reminded me too that there's this. I should have shared it, but there's this game coming out by the Ark Survival Evolved developers. It's called Atlas. It looks really cool. It's pretty much like a better Sea of Thieves, pretty much.
So a potato, like anything's better at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter at all that I bought that game twice. So.
And for which one?
Sea of Thieves. I bought it for my wife and me so that we could play it together.
Wait, why did you have to buy it twice? I thought it was cross-plat. Oh, because she needed her own account.
It was, but I can't remember why it came down to that. Like, it wasn't working or something, or like it was giving me issues trying to get it on my PC. So I just like rebought it.
Oh man!
And then turned out to be cancer.
So
did it put you guys into counseling?
Uh-oh.
Wait, what?
You say you bought for you and your wife. Did it put you guys in counseling? Like, how bad?
Funny thing is, like, we actually were in counseling at the time. And that actually came up.
I can just picture, Mrs. DC being like, he bought this shitty fucking game.
It wasn't even that. It was that, like, I was playing with two of my buddies from work, and like we'd be like, okay, sails left, and like two of the sails would go left and one would go right, and people would be like, oh my god, Kelsey, your other left, your other right, and like. We were just like constantly yelling, just like stop yelling at me, and like it just caused some drama.
Oops.
Like fuck, man. Like sails left, one sail goes left, another sail goes left, one of them goes right, and halfway up. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Oops. So, in other news, Destiny 2 Forsaken Raiders find a way to easy mode basically the Last Wish raid and get their loot within the first like 5 or 10 minutes of the raid, which is kind of interesting how this has come up.
This hasn't even been classified as an exploit yet. Like
Apparently.
Bungie hasn't really said anything about it, and it's just happening.
And it's like a super roundabout way, but it's kind of silly on how they do it. Like I watched the video earlier and I was like, what? Like
it reminds me of when guys playing Division were like using the shield to glitch through parts of the map to like speed up raids and stuff like that in Division. I don't understand why Bungie's not on this yet.
Crazy.
It'll probably be patched out here pretty soon. But I think they have so many other things to work out though instead of that right now. Just like
it's like the powerful engrams in the Dreaming City. Like you get that bonus if you haven't picked up a powerful engram. One would drop for you like at a higher chance, but you would just leave it on the ground and not leave the area and keep doing the same raid, and you had the bonus. So guys were racking up like powerful engrams, and that was immediately labeled an exploit. So like I don't know why Bungie's not touched this yet.
Just like the other, what was the other? There was another one that recently they're like, oh, players that got loot from this other exploit are not going to be penalized for it or something after they had fixed it. And it was just like the last 2 weeks it was just before the raid came out.
I understand not penalizing people when something first gets discovered, because like gamers are going to be gamers. Like if there's an easier way to do something, people are going to do it. But I don't know. I still think it's weird they haven't like said anything about this yet.
Oh yeah, it'll probably eventually be in there. People cheesing raids in Destiny is actually a long story tradition. Yeah, I mean every raid that I know of has been able to be cheesed except for Crota. Crota was the only one I didn't know you could cheese.
Oh yeah.
But that is like a terrible excuse too, right? Because you can't label like the engram dropping an exploit and just be like, oh, raid exploits? It's fine.
Yeah. It's kind of weird
especially
how they deal with that.
Since they were trying to focus on like the hard cap, and like the raids are a quick way through the hard cap.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of weird how they kind of deal with that. Like every time the raid ones are coming out, they don't ever think of that one as a big of a deal compared to some of the other ones. So it's kind of odd how they do that.
Yeah. It's like they pick and choose what's an exploit when it's all kind of exploity.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the Atheon raid from Destiny 1. I love that one.
Oh yeah, that was a cheesy. That you could cheese the hell out of. You could finish that one in 5 minutes at one point. That was just dumb in how you could finish it. Is the way you could, like pushing the guy off the map.
Yeah.
I can't believe Destiny 2's the full package is still $100, man.
That's crazy.
Looks like I'm not getting it.
Just wait for the Black Friday sale.
Why you gotta do that humble bundle, man?
That's where it is, $100. It's on Humble Bundle right now for like.
Oh, he did
$100.
I got that in the monthly.
Yeah. Don't talk about the humble and the monthly for Potato Club. Shh, guys, don't talk about it.
Okay, I won't talk about it.
Keep that on the DL.
Captain, let you take this next one too. This is, I think, these two here.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to share this big. This is Red Dead is like my favorite game of all time. But Rockstar, there's a lot of Red Dead news this week. First thing, Rockstar announced that Red Dead Online, which is the online experience, of course, to Red Dead Redemption. That's one's coming in November, so a month after the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2. And the interesting part that they put in here is that it's launching as a public beta. So I guess that's kind of, because we all know GTA Online, when that launched, that was a huge mess. So I guess that's their way of kind of saying, like, hey, there could be issues, this and that. It's a public beta, so we're kind of, testing it all with you guys. And then I also wanted to share just a little. There's a lot of previews of Red Dead Redemption 2, really cool ones. One of my favorite is from Kotaku, because Kotaku, they really talked about like these little tiny details in the game that just really makes the world feel alive. And Rockstar, they're really the kings of that. So one cool thing with this article is that they're bringing back like from San Andreas, where you can like almost like really customize your character and whatnot, like that. Like you can customize Arthur, and like his beard will grow in like real time, and his hair as well, and you have to like keep it trimmed and cut. If you're like in rain, if you're in mud, like your clothes will get all muddy and wet, and it'll stay that way unless you take care of yourself and you have to clean yourself. Otherwise, like if you walk around days with like mud on you, you'll start smelling, and like people will actually react to that. It's just really cool things like that. If you eat a lot, you get fat, and like
kind of like Scum.
It sounds like Life Simulator.
Like, there's a lot of really cool environments.
Facial hair.
I'm sure Tutu is gonna get in.
Yeah, and also like a big thing that they point out was just interesting enough. Of course, people love to point out that horse testicles react to weather. So if it's cold, they'll shrink and stuff like that. So yeah.
I heard about that. There was an old article on just that.
Yeah. If it's cold, they'll shrink, and it'll kind of go back to normal when it gets hot. And also in cold weather, like you have to wear a jacket. So it is almost like adding kind of survival elements, not like crazy kind of survival elements, but just like, survival elements that make sense to the game. And also like, there's so many environmental stuff, just the way that kind of like the world really feels so alive and unique in this game. Like
that's one thing I noticed. Like I saw them talking about how like new buildings will be built. Every building you'll be able to go into. There'll be new shops and businesses opening, like all the time. Like I heard a lot about that really like living aspect of it. And the new view modes I saw, they're in the first person shooter and a cinematic mode.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to come and turn in some really great YouTube content down the road.
Yeah. And there's also stuff like if you get into a fight, like in a local town, like and you have gang members there, like your gang members will recognize you and they'll come and help you out, like, which is crazy, especially.
Like the San Andreas gang warfare. That's awesome. Yeah.
But can you still use your fucking rope to hog tie hookers?
Probably.
I'm sure. I hope so.
I'm sure, and you'll be able to do it in cinematic mode. This time.
That was the best part of the game right there.
And you can get rid of the HUD and everything. You can play without a HUD entirely. Which I saw some shots of that. That looked fucking gorgeous.
So yeah, we're just about a month away from this pretty much, and I'm so excited. It's crazy that it's almost here now.
I know it's there, but there's so much. Like there's so much coming out next month. In the next month and a half, it's just going to be chaos and how many games I want to play and buy. And God, it's going to let me work in between all the conventions, like between TwitchCon and eVegas. Oh my God!
I'm just waiting for Anthem. That's the only thing on my docket right now. Anthem.
Yeah, and I will be at eVegas, so if you guys are doing the show while I'm out there, I'll probably be able to give you some firsthand stuff.
I will not be there.
I think only half of us are going. We might not have a show that week because of half of us being out there.
I'm curious if somebody from Pearl Abyss is actually going to show up.
That'd be really interesting to find out if they do something like that. Like if they end up showing up.
That's what I'm. You know, I could see them sending like one executive or something to make like an announcement or like introduce them. Like, hey, we're Pearl Abyss. We're not going to change your game. You know, that spiel.
I feel like they're just going to use their CCP staff and just send them.
It'd be kind of funny.
Like just not even getting involved at all.
Well, like I said earlier, I think, you know, Pearl Abyss is using CCP to edge more in the Western market. So I could see them sending an actual physical representative to introduce themselves at Vegas.
You think they're going to do some like BDO drops while they're at Vegas? Be like, by the way, there's this other game we do.
I bet you money they probably will. Like, if you're already on Omega, we'll give you 2 months premium access or some bullshit.
Oh God!
We'll give you
like a
1,000
giant
pearls.
Advertising campaign.
Every EVE Omega who comes over gets 100 pearls.
Oh God, that'd be god awful.
Yeah, it will.
Companies are about money, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
There'll be skins on horses in BDO. Watch.
You know, like a
Quaif skins
skin
on horses.
Yeah, right.
Quaif horses.
Quaif horses. Not even the skins. They just skipped the horses. Quaif bred horses. On the next news, we got the Battlefield 5 developers outline the changes coming after the recent beta, which is actually like some of it's pretty good, and a lot of it actually addresses a lot of the complaints that I had personally. A lot of it had to do with attrition. Tweaking how much ammo you get on spawn, because like you ran out of ammo so quick. Like you were literally running from body to body and you would die a lot because you'd have to run and try to get ammo from somebody. So they're trying to.
I thought the whole point of that though was they were trying to focus more on squad play.
And they are. So like yeah, like somebody has to be like, you know, your supply guy. Somebody has to be a medic. Although anybody could res anybody now, which is kind of interesting. That was kind of a cool feature.
It also takes forever, which I kind of like, because you're not just like, you know,
you're not just stabbing them
and your shock panels together.
Yeah, so they're focusing on a little bit more ammo in spawn, more ammo capacity. There's like a whole outline here on Reddit. Improving visibility on certain places. They're trying to tweak the death experience again because like players are still complaining about it. It actually got shortened a lot in this last beta from the first like little closed alpha that they did. And then now they're adjusting it again, so you're not going to get punished or anything. I mean, the timer after the adjustment was actually the same as you would get in even Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 1. It was just you could stay there with your hand out like help me, you know, and doing all that instead of just waiting at the map, you know, waiting for the timer to count down. So
honestly, I think the best one was, remember Battlefield 4 when you died and like Buddy just did like the quick like reached out with his hand and then you were at the map screen. Like I thought that was the ideal like sort of amount of time for a cinematic, and then you had the option to like respawn.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice feature in 4.
4 is still my favorite one right now. Like
I think it's everybody's favorite still.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that they went back because you know it kind of changed up things in a time where we really needed it. But I think the fact that they're going back again for a second time in a row on a prime Battlefield, like it's like, come on, man, like. Give us another bad company. Give us another modern.
Honestly,
they're always combating COD. Like they need to stop. Like when COD does World War II, do modern war. When COD goes modern, then do, you know what I mean? Give people something you can suck them into that's absolutely different. But like COD's war, like you know what I mean?
And also, if you're gonna go back, I say change it up. I think they should have did like, you know, Battlefield 5 should have been the Eastern Front.
You can't. It could have been any. It could even went Vietnam really in this case and had, you know, a lot
1812.
of crazy
go all the way
Like
back.
they could have kept all the characters, everything they had. They could have just switched it from like Europe to Russia, and it probably would have sold 10 times better. Because Europe's overplayed as a World War II title in general. So they like went back again, and they chose a field that's like been overplayed. Like Medal of Honor overplayed that shit years ago.
Yeah, that's why
I
there
was
hasn't
really
been
hoping
another Medal of
Battlefield
Honor.
5 was going to be modern, or like go to the future again, like Battlefield 2142. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
would
what- yeah,
love-
revisit
which
that.
was great.
I would love a
There's
like.
still private servers
not-
at 2142 up.
I would love, absolutely love, if they went and made 2142 the right way this time and not put fucking spyware in their game that pissed everybody
Yes.
off. So that was.
well, I mean, like that's always a downside when you have spyware in your game.
yeah. Oh, that's what killed it. Like that was a fantastic game. Otherwise,
Yeah, I know. I want to go fight China and Africa. That's what I want to go do with fucking robots and
yeah. Like
railguns.
the mechs were a lot of fun. The tanks, the hover tanks were a lot of fun. The hover choppers were like that was probably hands down the best flying mechanic they ever had in a battlefield. Was those hover choppers, because they weren't
Agreed.
propeller based. They were jet based. So you could go and like super tactically, like you could run circles around somebody and they're really good pilots. I mean, I see them do it in Battlefield 4 still. And these guys in Battlefield 2142 were ridiculous with that.
Yeah, like I'm less pumped that it's World War II. Like I'm happy Battlefield's coming back again. Like I love Battlefield. I fucking hate COD. Like I just want either modern or slightly modern or just go straight futuristic. I'm tired of constantly like, oh, we're fighting the Germans. The Germans are coming, and like,
Yeah, it's kind of
Exactly. It's always the fucking Germans. Let's do like the Russian-Japanese war from before World War II. Let's do that shit.
yeah something.
Go back to-
something
yeah, like,
Yeah,
just
no.
switch it up, man. Like World War II
Yeah.
is so played out.
like
Yeah, do like the Boxer Rebellion or something. Give us something, Korea. Let's do a Korean fucking.
Plus,
Yeah,
Dice would be
let's-
smart to go futuristic because then nobody can claim that it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, true. It's very safe to go.
And
You
that's
just do crazy.
Women with fucking prosthetics. Mer.
no, yeah, you go in there with a hat, a fucking cybernetic guy, and what are they gonna say?
It's not futuristically accurate, man.
2142 would be an
Like,
instant
come
printer,
on.
right? They could just do 2150 and be like, call it, make it even, go 2150,
I just want Bad Company 3. That's all.
right?
Yeah,
I would
that
even be
would've been
happy-
A smart play.
I would have been happy with a Bad Company 3. I would have been down for that.
Yeah.
because both Bad Company games were really good.
And I don't know why they stopped making them. Like, it was like right after that last one, they're like, oh, it's so good, we're not going to do any more with that, guys. We're good.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they try to make safe bets like that. It's better to go out with like a great franchise than like make it really shitty before you leave.
See, I liked, so going back on bad Battlefield games, I liked Hardline to a degree. I didn't like their driving mechanics because they changed their driving and flying mechanics for whatever reason in that one. But like everything else in terms of the game was actually kind of cool. It was just like, you were in the South, South Louisiana or something like that and fighting out, as cops and robbers basically. It was kind of a cool concept. It's something different they did, but I know it wasn't as well received as some of the other stuff. So this was another one that's kind of like pissing players off this week is Devil May Cry 5 is going to have upgrade microtransactions. Basically, you could pay to speed your progress up and make it so you can upgrade your stuff via these orbs, which it was a thing in the last Devil May Cry also. But the fact that they're bringing it back again at the height of, all of these companies doing microtransactions or loot boxes and all this stuff, is like, why would you go and bring yourself that kind of attention? Like, you just killed probably a third of or fourth of your player base right now just by announcing the fact that they're even going to have microtransactions in the first place.
Because it's not people that are actually gauging the community making these decisions.
Yeah, they're all like, how can we make a few extra bucks off a single player game? Like, come on, guys. We want the game. Give it, make us pay for DLC versus like a microtransaction in the game that doesn't matter, like
I love the fact that a lot of game companies have community managers, but they don't really have say. Their real job is to just make us like the shitty decisions the executives,
it's
make. And it's a sad thing because they're like, microtransactions the thing now. We can make a lot of money because people buy, like gold packages on Google Play for like $10.
Yeah.
We can get them to do this in a fucking AAA title, no problem.
Yeah, and it's fucking terrible. Like it's getting to the age where everybody's gonna get tired of microtransactions, and it's really gonna make or break a game here soon. And it's really finally coming to a thing like where it's just oof.
I know it can like totally be ignored and whatnot, and it's optional, but still, just having that option there is just so annoying. Like, I'm really excited for this game, but this is kind of like,
Yeah, and I believe
like,
Halo's
why?
talking about microtransactions too.
Yeah, I mean, all of the Halos have had it just to a degree, and I forgot that 5 had a thing where you could get some of the cars and stuff originally. I don't think that's a thing anymore.
But it's
But
like, when you get a like an iOS game or a phone game, and like every single one of them is the same fucking thing, where it's like, oh, pay to do this, pay to do that. And I feel like PC gaming is going that way.
right?
Yeah,
Like
that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm
microtransactions
saying.
are fucking everywhere. Next thing you know, you're gonna have ads in your games.
Yeah, that's like me on mobile games. I as soon as it starts bugging me to buy stuff, like every time I log in or play the game, I'm like, nope, I'm deleting this game instantly. Westworld, the
Dude, I
Westworld
almost
games
have
start doing that.
I almost have no phone games because of that. I think I have like Chrono Trigger on there, and that's it. Because everything else is like ad bar at the top or bottom, and like every few minutes, it, like throws an ad in your face, or it's like pay to get rid of ads. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, I remember just over a decade ago, there was like heavy product placement in games, and I think
Yeah.
we might be heading towards that again because every racing game had they all had Cadillac Escalades that were somehow souped up with NOS. Like anybody who played Midnight Club 2,
Yeah,
it's just like none of these cars work this way.
yeah,
I
None
understand,
of
like in a racing game, like you're gonna obviously have cars that are like realistic cars,
but
but
they used to
like,
do
it's
like
getting
cutscene film
stupid.
shit, too.
yeah, like that's just it. Like stuff that has no business being in a game, like, or like in the game for the genre. Like, yeah, you're gonna play Gran Turismo. There's gonna be a bunch of like car placement, obviously, because you're racing with cars. But like then all of a sudden you have billboards that are like buy Coke. It's like, man,
Yeah.
yeah. I fully agree. One of the next topics coming up is kind of like going into our bans, blocks, and stupid things. Kind of our new little segment title for today, because there's just a lot of dumb shit that's happened in gaming recently. One of them being this kind of an oddball story, where PayPal. Well, it started with YouTube actually, but it's coming from PayPal now blocking and banning ASMR streamers' PayPal accounts and locking their accounts for 180 days because they were doing ASMR streaming, claiming that it was basically internet pitchforks going against these channels and saying, oh, they're selling sex on their channels because they're doing ASMR creative streams. And there was a whole, like, this article here, I'll link here in the chat. There was a lot of these, like, there were not even close. So, they're just standard, your stock standard ASMR streamers. Like, one of them is a little questionable with, with showing a little extra cleavage, but it wasn't anything close to, like what it didn't hit what they were claiming to be hit with. So
How the hell is ASMR selling sex? Like,
I don't know.
Even if you're doing like a sexual ASMR, like what? Like how the hell is that?
Yeah, it's like, it sounds.
I think the issue lies in like if you go to the ASMR channel, if the top ones are usually scantily clad, which is again you're allowed to do, but like it just reinforces like people that are already against it being like, look, see, I'm like, yeah, it's not porn, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, DC.
Yeah.
It's just a few people that go push the boundaries just a little bit, a little bit further than most, and people are using them as straw man to go after the smaller ASMR channels first.
Exactly. Like it's not just right, because there is a lot of good ASMR channels out there. Like you can check them out. The problem is they're never at the top of the list, and the ones at the top of the list are usually the ones doing cosplay stuff, wearing like almost nothing. And like again, that's not wrong, but it does kind of reinforce that bad look of like, oh well, it's just quote unquote booby streamers or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
And we talked about that whole
it's a lot
booby
easier to
streamer.
go after the smaller ones first. Like you take the smaller ones first because the big ones that end up on top of that list, they're a little too big to go after just yet because they actually have connections.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
or they're bringing in too much.
But
Exactly.
I mean, there is the other side of the coin too, where it's like if you look at like what ASMR is and the science behind it, like a lot of it is like the audio portion. Well, like you don't need to have a super low cut shirt to be making sounds on a microphone. So like there is that argument of it too.
Yeah. Well, then and that's also very true.
And also with Twitch being owned by Amazon, PayPal is owned by their competition. So I could just see this being an excuse for PayPal to pull support from the platform little by little.
Well,
Yeah,
this is from YouTube.
Go
Well, yeah, it's from YouTube though. Like most of these complaints came from YouTube and not even Twitch yet, which is kind of interesting. How it's all been targeted on YouTube versus Twitch, which is kind of weird. Like I didn't even
It's
think.
kinda
YouTube has always had
YouTube
looser
has-
rules.
Yeah, so yeah, I was just saying, like, it's usually the opposite. It's usually Twitch gets hit first.
Yeah, I think it's just because, over the past couple of years, a lot of banned Twitch streamers have gone over to YouTube and found success. So, a few of the really bad ones have gotten like this real bad taste in people's mouths for YouTube gaming. Because they see these people that got banned for valid reasons on Twitch going over to YouTube and still doing their thing.
Yeah, like I Potato Pub saying is like some of the top ASMR people on YouTube are not even sexual at all. Some of them have a million subscribers. Yeah, I get it. Like it's weird, and
And that's honestly what I've compared it to when I've looked towards Twitch and then gone to YouTube to like check out like almost, I would say, real ASMR, and like, yeah, it's not sexual at all.
Even
People
the
are
gal
wearing,
that
like, regular clothes.
Even the gal that's in this article that she put her tweet in, I'll call him ASMR, Escape Reality. She has her Escape Reality thing on YouTube. She is very well dressed and is not scandalous or anything at all. She's cute. She's definitely very cute, but it's like it's not even close to what it is. And they got her account for 180 days and they won't do anything about it. So PayPal responds.
It's like what I said though. Like even Potato Club, like he listens to ASMR, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's no reason to be doing cosplay and ASMR because like 90% of the people that are actually tuning into ASMR for what ASMR is are just listening to it.
Yeah. And then the customer service for PayPal responds with a kind of a stock generic response. Customer service and positive resolution of buyer and seller issues are important focus for PayPal. Our customer service team is always available to help customers understand our policies to ensure compliance. Additionally, PayPal has no policy against autonomous sensory meridian response ASMR related content and does not otherwise violate PayPal acceptable use policy. But they're still banning these people from doing it because of other internet pitchforks without any proof. Kind of like the same thing we talked about last week with like Lyric getting a random ban from a fucking soccer tournament thing for when he was playing COD. Like, what?
Yeah.
So
remember back when internet's pitchforks held no weight and companies just held their own? You know what I mean?
And companies were just kind of sitting there doing this the whole time. They're just like,
yeah, like whatever. Fuck you.
Well, what happened is that those same companies started hiring the new generation of workers from the internet.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely part of the problem.
Yeah.
You just go look at like most of the people in these companies now. You'll recognize a lot of their screen names from some of them being locales even.
Well, it's like when Family Guy did their episode on like social justice warriors and how like we live in a no joke culture anymore and like all this other stuff, and they just like highlighted it to the extreme. And like that's half the problem is like you can't tell a joke anymore, you can't do anything anymore, you can't use satire, and like somebody gets offended, and the internet pitchforks, like companies are so worried about the bad publicity that they'll just cave to it to like make it go away.
Or some companies just won't have U.S. releases for foreign game companies. Like,
Yeah.
like I mentioned with Japan, they're more, they care less about, feminist standards in Japan. So they're just like, okay, you guys going to give us up? We just won't release half our games in your country anymore.
Yeah.
Well, there is a paradigm shift happening though. Like even with feminism, like feminism the way it is now, like there's less and less women identifying as feminists because like it's being more to the extreme. Like if you're a feminist now, you're seen as more of an extreme like internet social justice warrior as opposed to someone that's just fighting for equal rights.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And that's where it's coming.
That majority isn't in charge of these game companies, creative departments though. They have that vocal minority that's getting fought against and still in those positions.
Well, look at like all the backlash Battlefield's getting. Like people were freaking out because there was a female in there with a prosthetic arm. And they're like, "Oh, it's not, it's not historically accurate." And like Battlefield actually, EA was like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Well, if you're, presenting a, Battlefield authentic title, say in World War II, and you have somebody with a prosthetic arm wearing war paint and shit, you're gonna rub some feathers the wrong way.
When was the last time you picked up any video
prosthetic, and she was doing like shit that fully fucking buff Captain America dudes couldn't pull off?
But when was the last time you picked up any video game title for its historical realism? Like, when was the last time you wanted a history lesson?
When has anybody ever done that? Anybody? They didn't even matter.
The argument just holds no fucking weight. Like, oh, it's no historical.
Well, yeah,
is that why you're buying Battlefield?
I'm not saying it has to be a page by page, but I'm just saying what I've seen from that community with that historically authenticity that are complaining about that. They had some and they compared it to Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 was awesome because, those characters actually had historical bases in them. Yeah, they had completely fantastical story arcs, but, the Harlem Helljumpers were a real thing.
But none of them, yeah. But like none of this stuff is historically accurate. I'm like, if you want to go to historical accuracy, if you're talking about a World War, and actually, let's put it the broad scope of any.
Go to a museum.
No, not even that. Like any shooter game, if you want to place it in World War, what happens when you die? You die. What, you want to go and play the game for one life and that's it? You don't. Your game is done.
Yeah,
you're good.
Respawn. Historical accuracy ruined. I respawn.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
that's realism. That's realism accuracy.
Yeah.
Well, like the other thing too
But
is
no,
like if
no, it'd be cool
Battlefield
though if
didn't
they made a
have
World War II game where you died and you just came back as another member of the platoon. Like Johnson's just fucking gone. Now you're Jameis.
Yeah.
like Battlefield 1 in the intro. Like I'm sure everybody remembers the intro. You played as a character, and when you died, you teleported to the next guy down the line.
Yeah. So
Like that was already a thing. But the thing I think is funny is like if Battlefield 5 didn't have a female in there, people would have been freaking out saying it's sexist because there's no females. But then they put a female in there, she had a prosthetic arm, and people are still miserable. Like you just,
Well, I'm just saying that,
make anybody happy.
that's why I'm saying they should have done Eastern Europe because, you know, at least then when it comes to history, you know, there's actually a large number of women in Soviet sniper teams. You know, that's what I'm saying. They just put that in Eastern Europe and give her a fucking red badge and a fucking sniper rifle. Nobody would have gave a shit. Everybody would be like, "Oh, dude, it's fucking awesome." It's like Enemy at the Gates.
People shouldn't go to video games to expect historical accuracy. You go to video games to
saying.
have fun. You know, like you want historical accuracy.
I've never
DC
played.
Go to a museum. Go do this. Go take a history class.
It's not like I played Battlefield 1 and then went to work and was like, "Dude, I know so much about World War I now. You don't even know. I'm a fucking historian now." No. Like that's never been the reason to buy any game. Like, I'm not going to pick up the Division and be like, "This might happen in New York," and I'm going to be a fucking expert if it ever does.
Well, I'm talking about the people who are already educated in World War II that play these games. That is a large number of the people that play a lot of World War II games. There are a lot of people that actually know World War II history.
Like even
that's why Call of Duty, when they went back and they did like the African campaign, they actually got a lot of praise because they did quite well.
Well, on the flip side of this coin, though, I can't remember I think it was Medal of Honor. When Medal of Honor did their Afghanistan campaign, and that game was a huge fucking failure because it was boring as shit because it followed the historical timeline of like the first like American troops, like quote unquote invasion of Afghanistan, like settling in to like take the Kandahar region and stuff. And that shit was brought out of historical records.
I remember when that game came out, that got banned in the military because a lot of fucking guys on my base tried to buy it, and they wouldn't allow it to be sold, and they were actually confiscating it on room.
But that game did terrible on the civilian sector, and they went the full blown like this is historically accurate. It follows the timeline. Like people were like, this is boring. It sucks. You can't do this.
And Potato Pleb, I like alternative history. That's what I think they should have done with Battlefield 5. They should have done some alternate shit.
Yeah.
What, like Hitler's a Jew, or like
I don't know, or throw some like steampunk elements that like Iron Harvest did with their new game.
What if the Germans win? Like do a game like that.
Yeah, like fucking prequel to Man in the High Castle. Let's fucking do it.
Oh, there's that movie that's actually based on that. Like Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow or whatever it was. That was based on Germany winning. Like alternative.
That's what I mean. Like games are supposed to be about fun, fantasy, and like living something that isn't a reality. Like that's the whole point of playing video games. It's an escape away from reality. And like all these people are like, no, historical realism. And I just don't understand the argument behind that.
No.
Well, I just think it's just the way Battlefield was promoting itself, and then the reaction they had to the community's backlash was also kind of like blew it out of proportion.
Well, it's because they went against the grain, and they're like, guys, if you don't like it, don't fucking buy it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people took that as okay, fuck it, and that just got the weaponized autism of the internet took that and fucking snowballed it.
But was Battlefield 5 ever coming out as their main advertising campaign, being like, this is historical realism?
No, not at all.
I don't remember ever seeing that.
Battlefield 1 wasn't even that either.
Exactly. Like Battlefield 1, they did a good job portraying a bunch of stuff, but like have they ever come out and been like, this is fucking history, boys. Come tune into Battlefield 5. You'll be a World War II expert. Like
another
don't like it. Don't buy it. This is madness.
I'm not saying. Well, I just want to clarify. I'm not saying people go to these games for education. I'm saying the people educated in World War II usually gravitate to these games because there's a level of realism and then a level of fantasy in it. Like with Battlefield 1, like I said, the Harlem Helljumpers were a real thing.
Yeah.
The personal story arcs are fantasy, but they were based on more real things. And it's just Battlefield 5 went, we're just gonna make completely fantasy shit and put it in a realistic setting, and they're just like,
You want to know the kind of the cream of the whole thing? None of these motherfuckers would even know what the fuck realism for that era would have been anyway, because most of those people are long gone or on their deathbed or close to.
Like I like to consider that because of my
like
job,
real realism of that war.
Like,
Well, I
I'm
do know
pretty
a few World
educated
War
in
II
these
vets
things.
that actually did review the game trailers.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, that's a little
and
different.
they were pretty upset that it was being portrayed as a World War II game.
But at the same time, like, I'm pretty educated in most wars just because of my job. And, like, I've never looked at a game and been like, nope, that's like when grenades, like, explode and there's fucking fireballs. I've never actually complained about that. Maybe it's because, like, I have common sense. But, like, I've never looked at that stuff and been like, well, it's not realistic enough. Because I realize at the end of the day, it's a game.
Nobody's ever come at a game because ballistics were unrealistic. Everybody expects ballistics to be fucking ridiculous.
But that's the easiest argument you could pull. That's literally the easiest argument you could pull is like realism on ballistics because no game captures it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but people are just freaking out anyway.
But nobody argues about the physics of the game. They care about the character base. That's what the argument's mainly about is where are you basing these characters off of? They don't give a shit that people are fucking jumping out of second-story windows with tanks crashing through it completely unharmed and fucking tanks planes crashing out, fucking littering everybody with shrapnel. Nobody's bitching about that aspect. They're bitching about where the characters are based. I don't agree with the criticism.
If a tank was coming in my building, I would jump
I don't buy those games myself anymore, really, unless I really like something about it. I'm just saying that's what I've seen from that side that's been arguing about that.
And like what Potato Plus says, like immersion is a thing. Yeah, sure, man, got it. But like, if you want to have a historically realistic game, like you have to advertise it as such. The fact, I guess the point here is that everybody's yelling at Battlefield for this not being historically accurate to a T, and they never ever said that it was gonna be that. And people are like, "What the fuck? Where's my realism?"
Well, I'm just saying
they're just
that
like it's based on an era
because of their reaction was like, I read the article that had the reaction about if you don't like it, don't buy it. The developer was basing his opinion off his 12-year-old daughter playing Fortnite to why he said fuck the rest of the community's opinion. Like it wasn't just if you don't like it, don't buy it. It was where he was basing his decision. Also, it's just like, well, my 12-year-old daughter thinks you guys are full of shit, so fuck you, don't buy my game then.
Yeah, I remember that.
That kind of reaction kind of made the internet look at it like, are you fucking serious? And a lot of people just, there's a lot of people just principled on the reaction from the devs about it.
Yeah.
And like Creative Assembly is getting a little heat right now because some people bitched about female units in the Three Kingdoms Total War game, and they ended up locking and deleting the thread and banning people on Steam.
My question about the female argument with Battlefield 5 is like Battlefield 1, where that whole campaign was based off that female in the desert. Well, nobody said shit.
Yeah, you were right about that.
Well, she was actually
it's like people just forgot.
That she was actually based off a historical character, though. There actually was a female, the Arabs.
I'm glad that was
very instrumental
in
the Lawrence of Arabia biography. So that's where they based her off of.
I'm glad you said that because there was women in World War II. And
yeah, there were. It's just that
freaking out about it.
I'm not. Nobody's saying there weren't. They're talking about where they were. That's the main argument. Because in Eastern Europe, that's where you actually have concrete evidence of women in combat on the front lines. It was in Russia and on the Eastern Front. Yeah. On the Western Front, it wasn't even a thing. On the Eastern Front, though, a lot of the sniper corps were made up of women.
Oh, 100%. Because as the Russians were falling back and running out of people, they were getting women to be snipers. I get it.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, people were complaining that they're doing this on the Western half, than where it would make more sense on the Eastern half, where we actually have concrete evidence of women being badasses on the front line in Stalingrad.
I find it hard to believe there wasn't a single woman on the Western Front. You know what I mean?
No, there was.
It just seems it just seems like a weak argument.
Like I think there's like a few like old like stories of like French resistance members, but none of them really confirmed. Like we actually have like confirmed bodies and actual combat reports from both Germans and the Soviets when it came to their female units.
But you also have to look at the historical accuracy of those areas. Like I'm sure there was women fighting, but like when it's changing hands from like Germans and the Allies come through and there's resistance and people hiding underground, like of course that shit's gonna be obscure as fuck because it wasn't like mainline stuff and it was super secretive.
Yeah, they portrayed it as like that one was part of like a French resistance cell. That would have been nobody would have been able to really been bitching, but they portrayed her as a member of a uniformed ally, platoon, which wasn't a thing. That was a thing on the Eastern Front. Any women fought on the Western Front were usually part of resistance cells that weren't formally recognized by any military.
So let's move on from this. We got a lot of this stuff to cover.
This could honestly go on forever. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so let's go.
Well, can I bring up that RuneScape scam then?
That's coming up in a little bit.
Okay.
We do have the news of H1Z1 is got a reformed dev team, and it's going under another new name for the third time in a row, Z1 Battle Royale, which I think is the dumbest shit
dumbest
ever.
thing I've ever heard.
Like
how many times is this now that they've renamed this shit?
So it was H1Z1, then it was H1Z1 King of the Kill, then it was back to H1Z1.
It's like they're trying to trick people. Like,
and now
we'll
it's
rename it,
Z1
people
Battle
will buy
Royale.
it.
Like, why are you even keeping the H1Z1 thing at all? Why don't you just be like fucking Pig Royale or something? Because at this point, like, it's I'm so confused.
It's their marketing thing. They're just trying to trick people.
They know they're not relevant
Companies
anymore.
on Steam are doing all that Unity store asset flipping. Now it's just change the name of the game and see what happens.
It was like the third time they've rechanged the name, and it happens always to be like right before TwitchCon somehow or another. It's like because they always have a big arena thing at TwitchCon for all these things, and I'm just like, what? Maybe
it's some kind of like weird attempt at rebranding themselves to try to get a little boost come around Twitch season.
Maybe.
So that's just what I was applying at.
I think it's just it's a marketing thing.
Well, no, because you have a lot of first-time viewers that come watch TwitchCon on live stream every year. These kids don't know that, H1Z1 changed its name to this Battle Royale crap. They'll see and be like, oh, I'll go try that out. Let me go buy this. And then they'll be like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't this the H1Z1 game those old guys were talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And it turns into that whole thing. It's kind of ridiculous in how they keep doing it. And I'm like, a name change isn't going to save your game. I'm sorry, guys. It's not going to do anything for you. The game itself needs a lot of work.
You could call a game like Upper Decker, like Diarrhea, and if it was a good game, I wouldn't care about the name. I would just play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's all about what the actual game is, not the name.
Yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous in how they keep trying to trick people with the whole like, oh, let's change the name again and see if it gets better with it. I'm like, is there going to be an update with it? No, they're just changing the name. Oh, sorry guys, it's just the same shit again.
Like, I honestly feel like this is like a joke thing to report on. Like, who really gives a shit about H1Z1 anymore?
Right. I mean, back in the day when that was the only battle royale, yeah, sure. When it was like number one on Twitch for like a year almost before all the other.
I will give them this. At least they're not doing H1Z1 2 like Culling 2.
Right. Culling came back and it's really good now. It's so much better than it used to be.
Because they did what everybody wanted. They just updated the core game that brought everybody to it instead of like coming up with this crazy broken second version of it.
Yeah. And then the other kind of like dumb shit news of the week, which was actually this one kind of surprised me a little bit. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider launched this week, and it actually launched with a different ending than it has now, which has confused people because the original ending apparently was much better than the new one. And everybody's like, why the hell did you guys swap this?
It patched out day one, you were saying, right?
Yeah, it was patched day one. The new ending was patched out day one.
They're doing a reverse Mass Effect 3. Instead of having a good ending, they're swapping out to the shitty ending, and everybody will rage about.
Yeah. And it's just kind of weird, like, this has come out, and everybody's like, what? So apparently, yeah, like, Day 1 patch just fixes an error along with many other improvements. And it's just weird, like, people are like now, like, oh, if we get it on, PC or something, they're not going to do try not to do the update so they can play the original version as it was. Regardless if they don't have the fixes or not for like some of the other stuff, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Doc said they should scrap the game. This is good about it, make a new one.
Anybody relevant
Right.
concur with that? I mean, let's be honest.
I don't even know. I don't even
shot
know.
once, and he's like, "Game's crap."
I mean, well, are we talking about Shadows or are we talking about H1Z1? Because H1Z1, I think.
No,
I don't know if they could come up with
H1, that's an H1Z1 thing.
Oh, okay. So this other one was actually kind of interesting. Was team killing in Rainbow Six Siege is now going to inflict an instant ban, regardless if it was.
That's actually really good.
It's good, but it's also really bad because you can have those dumbass players that'll go and
bad
troll
for
people.
New players, which is unfortunate. It's going to be bad for new players, but in Rainbow Six Siege, like the griefing at the higher end was super bad.
Yeah. Well, I get why they do it.
Really fucking bad.
But if they go and like say for example, you could have other players troll other players now by getting them a ban because they'll go and just run in front of them when they're about to shoot. Like that's going to be the worst part that's going to happen out of that, I think.
Well, at the end of the day, like there's no way to combat trolling. Like it's always going to happen because if you're banning the team killers, like you said, like someone's just step in front of somebody else. Like it happens in CS:GO all the time. Now it's gonna start happening in Siege. So instead of guys like, I'm sure everybody's seen the video where Buddy tricks his whole team into like reinforcing a bunch of walls, and then they can't get out, and he's throwing gas grenades at the walls and like kills his whole team. Now that guy's just gonna go stand in front of his teammates, and he's not gonna get the ban. His teammate is.
Yep. Well, it's just kind of like the same thing we experienced that one night. Like I was trying to play CS:GO, and a guy kept just standing in front of you, like, "Oh, just shoot me, so you could go here, or I can hurry up and get you banned." It's like, what? Come on, guy. Yeah.
Wait, that actually happened. You wait.
No, that was when we played.
Shocked about the fact that you were playing CS:GO.
No, this is when we were playing the last time we played, like a couple months ago.
So that was like a while ago.
Yeah. This is a couple months ago. Same shit happened.
I was gonna say, like, you haven't played CS:GO with me in forever.
Personally, I really love everything that Ubisoft is doing as far as to like combat toxic players with Rainbow Six, but this one just feels a bit weird to me because like
I feel like they just swung the fucking ban hammer in hard, and they just got like mad, and they're like, team killing, you're fucking banned, and they didn't put any thought behind it.
Yeah, because like what if like there's legit people that accidentally kill people, and like I get, like, of course, if you're purposely going to do it, like you're going to do it a lot. But if you accidentally do it, you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, my bad. And you're going to get banned for 30 minutes just for accidentally killing somebody. Like, that's kind of shit.
Here's the major problem with it. It's like
scrubs.
If I throw out a gas grenade or like a fucking molly, and some asshole on my team goes and stands in it, he like sees it and he doesn't like me, he just goes and stands in it, I'm fucking banned now. That's the issue with this. It's not like the accidental, like, oh, fuck, I was shooting through a thing and my teammate was kind of like not situationally aware and ran in front of me and I clipped him. Like, that's not an issue. It's like the dudes that are going to go stand in mollies, go stand in gas grenades, and you're just trolling.
I think the ramifications from it are going to be worse on this end, on this spectrum, from instant banning versus having like a system in where you vote and see, did this guy do it on purpose? Like if the guy's being a dick in comms or something, and then all of a sudden goes and gets himself killed trying to get the other guy banned, like, the forgive or not system, basically.
Yep.
Like I think that system works a lot better than just insta banning fucking players.
100% it does.
I feel like the best way to combat this, as much as it would suck, but it's a better alternative, is just to turn off friendly fire.
Yeah, but then you can't do competitive play.
Yeah, competitive play goes out the door with that.
How so?
Like if there's no team damage,
because it takes away the risk of killing your own team in a competitive match, thus handicapping your own team.
Yeah, but you kill your own team, you get banned anyway.
Strategy wise, like if you know there's like a common choke point and like you think the enemy's gonna push through there, so you throw like your molly down or your gas grenade down, and there's no team damage. Now you know the enemy team's probably not watching that area, and you're gonna have one of your friendly teammates run through that, get no damage, and just like flank the shit out of them. Which normally with team damage that wouldn't happen. Like it's a huge issue. You see it all the time on ESEA with Counter-Strike because there's no molly damage on competitive ESEA. So like guys will throw down mollies and their teammates will run through that shit and know the enemy team's not watching it. It's a huge fucking issue. So if you get rid of team damage, competitive play is garbage. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, the best way I think to combat it is the forgive or not system. Like if they kill you on accident,
or just give like a 3. Give you like the 3 thing. Like if you kill a guy, you get a warning. The second one is your final warning. You kill one more, you're gone.
Yeah,
because then if somebody's trolling,
if
somebody's trolling, like, okay, I'm not going to throw any more fucking stupid shit that guy can go stand in.
Yeah, people will just change
because
the way
I know
play.
he's going to do it.
Yeah, they'll just change
exactly.
the way they play.
You can combat it, but like first time mistake ban is bad. That's super bad.
Yeah.
On the other one of kind of like what the hell is going on is Twitch has been blocked in China now. In terms of the iOS and Google Play stores, Twitch has been removed from all their stores. And even some rumors that some of the internet providers out there are also blocking it, which is kind of interesting.
Good for China for standing up for themselves.
Well, it's like they were already limiting China streamers from streaming on Twitch because they didn't want to have income go outside of China. So that was already a start. Like they had to pay like every time they got a subscriber, China was charging their streamers a part of their revenue too. So the revenue amount got even smaller. So Twitch takes their 50-50, for example, for an affiliate streamer. They were taking like another $1 off of that.
There's like a huge housing bubble in China, so they use every little trick in the nook to kind of extra tax people and shit.
Yeah,
to try to cover it.
And then now it's just they're like, fuck it, it's just blocked now, guys. Fuck y'all. It's kind of surprising.
Like we were talking about before, it's like in response to like all of the Taro stuff and everything that's going on, right? It goes political, and I don't think we should go down that rabbit hole. No. But I get why they did it because China's like their little thing or whatever. But I don't know. This seems a bit extreme to me. Like, who really gives a fuck about Twitch?
Yeah, I think it's more of a domestic economics move on China's part. I don't think it's political as much. I think just political might just be an excuse they might use.
It could be, but I think it's gone a lot more political because they've been all voicing that they're super pissed. I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, they're all super pissed at basically our government. Which
but I'm just saying, no matter what the political atmosphere is, they always find excuses to ban foreign companies that are taking revenue out of their country because they always try to copycat and sponsor a lot of things. That's why you don't get a lot of Chinese products outside of their country. Like try to buy a Chinese car in America, it isn't going to happen because most of them are like IP ripoffs of like Range Rovers and shit.
What about all the other products that you get that are like say made in China on them?
That's different. That's manufacturing or part licensed by a Western company usually.
Yeah.
Domestic Chinese product being shipped.
Well, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So the next one is hackers have already cracked open the Switch's online NES library, which has been kind of interesting because it kind of ties into this whole new bans basically on people who are either hacking, jailbreaking, playing or modifying.
This actually goes back quite a ways though, because guys were getting GameCube games. They were like breaking open their Switches and like modifying the hardware so they could play like Switch games and stuff like that. Or not Switch games, sorry, GameCube games.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like Nintendo's stance on this, that they're just like banning your account. So it's not like you can just go buy another Switch or like fix up what you were doing, go back to the original Switch. Like that account is done.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just
I kind of like that stance.
Oh no, I do too. It just alleviates a lot of other issues too, which is really good, I think.
Well, you're not going to get hackers, right? Because like nobody's going to risk their account, and like, you're going to make a fake account to hack, but that account is immediately going to get destroyed, and it's done. Like overall, for the major community that plays any game, like most people will play a game to have fun and have equal gameplay. Like Switch is doing it, so like you're not going to run into hackers, and it's a good stance to take. Like I know a lot of people are complaining, but at the same time, like the people that are complaining are the people that are like, man, I just want to play my GameCube games. Then go on Amazon and buy a GameCube. Like I'm sorry, or get an emulator on your computer. Like don't crack open your Switch and modify it, because like as much as they're like we're doing it like nicely and with the best intentions, 90% of the people that are doing that are doing it to get an edge on somebody else.
Yeah.
There was one hacker on Switch that was a martyr, and he hacked the console on Splatoon 2 to just kind of shows just how like easy it is to hack it. And he did it like right before they announced Nintendo online to kind of say like, hey, Nintendo, like your system is screwed. People could easily hack it. You needed to fix this because we're paying for it now. We need to have anti-cheat and this and that. And I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that,
but this was cool. This stance they're taking though is like it is a fix. Like you don't need to have like anti-cheat if you're just gonna auto ban every account that does anything bad. Like that is true. You don't really need it, and that's like the best deterrent. Because now your Switch is fucked. Like you can't use your account.
Yeah.
Like so that's a great stance.
So this next one, I'll let House Hendo take over because he's the one who told us about it, and we heard about this story today, which is kind of a wild one to like how much this guy did in terms of it.
To anybody here that's a fan or used to play RuneScape or aware of RuneScape, they have moderators and stuff all throughout, that make sure, certain stuff goes right. Anybody caught cheating, robbing people, scamming people. Well, it turns out one of those watchmen supposedly should have had a watchman on him. He got away with a confirmed 45 billion in-game gold, with a further suspected amount to total in 100 billion, which would be around 100,000 USDs if it is the 100 billion number. And he was also involved in some DDoS attacks, I guess, last year, in reviewing the cases for him, and one of them cost about $20,000 tournament ticket that he was involved in too. So this guy Gagex looks like he probably ripped off a lot of gold, and it turns out that the company ended up having a pretty extensive internal data scan. They found massive data breaches on his accounts. He had many accounts. He was siphoning gold. He was just being all around scumbag with the mod badge.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Like it's looked like almost $100,000 worth of real life money worth of stuff that he was basically gold selling it too, which was like he was running a site selling RuneScape gold to people because he was stealing it from everywhere else, which is just crazy. And all this stuff.
Yeah, and sorry, going back to that DDoS attack, if you are in RuneScape circles, you are aware of the Reign of Terror clan. That's the ones that are responsible for the DDoS attack that he's supposedly may be involved with.
Yeah, it's insane. This is insane how they did all this. But like the amount of stuff that was just stolen here is just, oh my god. Like, Gillick's known for losing, not him. Yeah. Any hands go missing? Oh Jesus. Okay, we're not. Yeah, we're not going to go.
Here we go.
We're not going to go to the GigX thing. Oh jeez.
Yeah, wrong one. GagX, Gag, J, not GigX.
No, this is well, this is Yagex. Yagex or Yagex? Like, kind of like Jaeger, I guess. The way it's spelled.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, that was I'm always trying to keep my eyes open for like scams that go on. That one's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah.
See a mod, go and abuse its power like that much. It's like, one of the main fears that people have in MMOs is like, these guys have all this game master power and all this moderation power, can they really be trusted? And this guy proved definitively it's a big maybe now.
Yeah, right. So getting into some of our like top stories for today, man, it's some of it is kind of really sad news. So one of the two was Capcom Vancouver's studios shutting down. It was the studio that was behind the Dead Rising franchise, which is kind of unfortunate because like the last Dead Rising, it got kind of went off the weird side, which is kind of what the Dead Rising games are known for, but it kind of went the Saints Row route of chaos basically. And the studio behind that game, since due to, I guess it looks like because of the sales weren't as good, they've shut down that studio entirely. And it was also the studio behind Puzzle Fighter, I think, was the one that they were in charge of. But
I think it was
go say.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, it looks like they fired it. I've heard two conflicting numbers. Between 37 and 57 devs were released from employment at Vancouver. But continue. I didn't realize you weren't done yet.
Oh, that's okay. And then yeah, it's just like, so we knew Dead Rising game. It came out last year. I think it's last year it came out, right? And it didn't do as good as they'd hoped to. So that was kind of an unfortunate one. And so going into our next one was the big news of Telltale Games shutting down. Which, man, like this one was kind of like a hard one for a lot of people to swallow. They released pretty much everybody except for 25 people, which is staying to fill company's obligations to its board and partners, which was the official statement they gave. But what was cool to hear about this, kind of like the light out of kind of at the end of the tunnel for some of these devs on their work, is that a lot of the companies up there in the Bay Area where Telltale was at have like Twitch, Take-Two, Ubisoft, or the what is it called? Rockstar Santa Monica. I typed this wrong. A lot of the big studios up there have also opened their doors and said, "Hey guys, we've got a lot of openings. Let's try to help you guys get work." Again, even Ubisoft went and had like a mixer. I think it was yesterday actually, where they told a lot of the Telltale company or employees to come, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna pay for this. We're gonna rent out BJ's for you guys. You guys come in, have some food and drinks on us. Meet with our recruiters, meet with our hiring managers, and let's get you guys back to work." Which was kind of like a really cool thing for a lot of these companies to do, to kind of unite after this. But Telltale, like, canceling all the other games that some of them I was personally looking forward to, like the Stranger Things Telltale game. I was super looking forward to that. I really wanted to see that.
Game of Thrones series.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones series also.
I wanted Wolf 2 so bad.
Oh, the Wolf Among Us 2?
Wolf Among Us, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that
too. And I decided to kind of do the math on how many people actually got lost their jobs and are possibly getting their jobs back. It's around just over 200 devs that would have been fired. And I'm basing that off of the last layoffs they had. That was about 25% of the company. Around 90 people were laid off in that. So roughly the math comes out to around like 220, 230 devs.
I'm looking at a tweet that one of their former employees said, and there's so many like different stories on Twitter about just like how Telltale treated their employees and whatnot. And this former employee said that it was around 250 people that are jobless.
With no severance, by the way.
No severance packages. Their healthcare only lasts for one more week. Yeah, she also said that many former employees were contract and can't get unemployment. So it's just horrible. Like the way that they treated them, enslaved their employees.
I don't even know how
yeah,
that's
you hear this a
possible.
lot about. Yeah, you hear this a lot about like game devs, how they overwork them and underpay them. And it's just sad to like see this, come to light, especially at a studio like Telltale. And Telltale means so much to so many people. Say what you want about their games as of recent, but we all have like fond memories. Of course, the Telltale thing of like such and such will remember this is like infamous. It's just crazy and sad to see this.
Yeah, especially that their engine was very unique too, the Telltale tool.
Yeah.
The fate of that is of a big concern to a lot of people because with all these different companies buying them out, I would think that there'd be issues with them acquiring it. But if some of the former devs were to form their own company, hopefully they'll be able to salvage it.
Another sad thing about this too, this employee reported that there were like a lot of people that started as recently as a week ago, and I'm sure Telltale even knew this, like that they were going to have to shut their doors, and they still were hiring people, and one of them like moved cross country just to work there.
Oh wow!
And now and that was a week ago too.
And that's in the Bay Area too. That's not easy.
Yeah, I think the higher ups, like the board of executives, probably knew the shutdown was coming, but I'd highly doubt like human resources was given the full letdown. So they're probably just still hiring people, thinking the company was good.
Oh jeez.
Because it does seem like the treatment I could see was consecutive, but it seems like the shutdown was quite sudden.
Yeah, like really, like no one like on the dev team really knew about it, which is crazy.
It kind of seems really like. Sudden. It kind of seems like they might have got funding pulled all of a sudden. And they're like, well, shit, now we're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Telltale was known for taking a lot of risks, and I don't know exactly how ownership of that company worked. Like if they had like a group of investors that was keeping it afloat or not, because that could have been, well, we're not seeing great returns, so either sell the company or we're shutting it down and liquidating it.
Yeah.
Like EVE Online had that basic kind of situation with Pearl Abyss.
Yeah. So going on. Amy's question, the original H1Z1, which was renamed to Just Survive, that's shutting down. We talked about that one a little bit last week, and then this week, H1Z1, well, it was King of the Kill, that was renamed to H1Z1, is now getting renamed to Z1 Battle Royale, which I don't even understand why they're even keeping the original part of the name in there. It's just like, why don't you just they should have just kept H1Z1 King of the Kill. I think that made the most sense for the game back in the day, but they're changing the name again to try to confuse people, it seems like. But now you have Battle Royale in the name. Like, it's just dumb. But I agree. It's really stupid of them not to be able to allow people to host servers. Like, that would have been.
I agree. King of the Kill was the better name because it basically was you're playing, King of the Hill with guns.
Yeah. Yeah, like everything about that is just stupid. It's pretty stupid. Like, all the form.
I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get some like name recognition with like the big guys like PUBG and Fortnite. Like, oh, these are battle royales. We have a battle royale too.
So the only thing that kind of confuses me on that tweet is the many former employees were contracted can't get unemployment. Contractors are eligible for unemployment in California. So that's the only one. That's the only part of that thing that just because like what? Like, I mean, I've been a contractor.
Did they have studios outside of California at all, or was
no? It was just the Bay Area one, the Bay Area studio. That's pretty much all they were. That's the only place where they're at.
This former employee, Emily, really goes into detail about a lot of the situation. There's other tweets that you can find from former employees as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, and one of the things she mentions in there too is just because the insane cost of living in the Bay Area, like it's impossible for people to stay up there if they can't get work right away. So that's why a lot of these companies are really trying to band together and work with them to try to find a new place.
That's why some of the best indie studios were in the Southwest. Very cheap out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Even San Diego's getting really expensive too. I mean, I'm in San Diego now, and it's even getting kind of ridiculous down here. It's getting close to LA standards, and LA is getting closer to Bay Area. So it's just wild. But I don't know. I had all this stuff today. There's just a lot of I mean, the studio shutdowns are always a terrible thing. It's hard to hear about some of these things, but I really hope that the devs, all were able to find work, or at least have found work somewhere else.
Yeah, I hope so too. But as you said, like there's so many different companies that are reaching out to try and hire these developers and whatnot. And there's even like Naughty Dog, which is we know how big Naughty Dog is. Sony Santa Monica that did God of War, so hopefully they can land on their feet soon.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling like a good chunk of them will, and then whoever doesn't, why we trying to relocate and get out of the Bay Area.
And also to add to that, I hope some of them band together and make a really badass studio of their own.
Yeah. Right? Well, wasn't Telltale formed from like a filling studio?
Yes,
I believe so. Yeah.
They came from. They came from a big franchise. I can't remember which one though, but it was like back in like 2004.
Yeah.
I remember they formed like 14 years ago. It was like 2004. It was formed by 3 devs that came from Microsoft.
Yeah, so I was trying to look for it right now and actually see where. Oh, it was actually a group from LucasArts originally.
Oh,
yeah,
LucasArts.
I was thinking of Star Wars or something.
Yeah, so it's former LucasArts employees that worked on Sam & Max Freelance Police, Sam & Max Hit the Road, and a bunch of other old the old classics. So they basically formed from the old LucasArts studio after LucasArts got shut down. So yeah, that was back in 2006, 2007. So while that company, like, technically has only really lasted about 10 years, and then even after their other obligations are done, that's probably the rest of Telltale for us, like, permanently.
Yeah.
Well, that 10 to 20 year mark is a lot harder for gaming companies.
Yeah, it's just, that's insane. So many like crazy stories for some of these things too. It's just, the other thing I didn't think we even talked about too was Fallout 76 its map's got a final name. It's Appalachia, I think is what it was. The new name for the Fallout 76 map, which is kind of a weird one. I don't know why people cared enough to have to. Yeah, Appalachia. So Fallout 76 map is called Appalachia.
Well, that's a given. It's the mountains of West Virginia. Which other ones are there?
Right. So I was kind of like. It was kind of like one of those moments. The same thing. I was like, why does this even matter? Like, why?
Hey, welcome to Fallout. It's post nukes.
In the Appalachian Mountains.
I'm really excited for us. I love like the mythical creatures that they've been like revealing. Like it's so cool to me and so like different because I know some other kind of Fallout games have kind of like dipped their toes in that, but not in this level that 76 is doing.
Yeah, I agree with Tutu on that. It's really great because I love how they're like taking the local folklore and actually showing a little biodiversity in the Fallout America that should be there because you're not just going to have death claws coast to coast.
Yeah,
right. It'd be like different variations and subspecies that are really different. And I like how they're doing that in 76.
Yeah, me too.
Gives me high hopes for Fallout 5 in that respect.
76 is really it's getting me hyped to begin with. Like I love Fallout, but I've always wanted a co-op experience for Fallout, and this is giving me that finally. So I'm super excited for co-op in this. Like this is actually something that me and my brother talked about when 4 came out. Because they were teasing originally back when 4 was announced that 4 might be co-op with a second player only. And I'm like, dude, if you had like a drop-in, drop-out system, kind of like Borderlands did, like, dude, I'd be all down for that. Like, give me that like 10 times over. Like, I'm good with that.
But 2-player Fallout 4, though, I don't know how that would work. Would that be like some kind of weird thing, like the husband and wife both survive, or? Well,
no, like you keep it treated as a drop in, drop out. So like the individual player's story or whatever is their own, but
like
they could
Halo,
go
maybe.
Yeah, like they jump in and help you as like one
take
of the
over a
strangers.
Companion. Like actually just jump in the Preston Garvey's body and be like, time to go help another.
Yeah.
Just like
time to go save another settlement. Oh man, but yeah, there's.
I want to be Hancock. That's who I want to be.
There you go. But yeah, it's in terms of news, like I think that's pretty much it. I mean, do we have any closing statements for today's show?
I don't think so.
Well, there's some media. Well, just so people know, this is just random. CBS is remaking The Twilight Zone with director Jordan Peele and possibly starring in a few episodes. There's been talk of a Diablo show coming to Netflix. And
Diablo show on Netflix?
Yeah, but the tweet was deleted by Andy Crosby, so we don't know if it's still happening or not.
Yeah, I don't even know.
And Patrick Stewart is to play Bosley in the upcoming Charlie's Angels movie that's apparently being made.
Oh God, they could just stop that and I'd be fine.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore seems to be the only one that's still going to be in it, and they have some villain that looks like Johnny Knoxville working out.
So it's going to be a terrible movie.
Oh,
yeah, it's going to be worse than the one with Demi Moore. I guarantee it.
Is that the one with who played Bosley in that one?
Bernie Mac.
That's it. Yep, that was pretty bad.
Well, I don't even think I saw it. I think I skipped it because I don't even remember.
Funny story about Bernie Mac having to be in Charlie's Angels 2. It was supposed to be Bill Murray, but apparently him and Lucy Liu got into it, and he told her she couldn't act for shit.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, he's got a point.
So the studio basically decided to keep her and let him go, and they hired Bernie Mac.
That's a tough one, man, because Bill Murray's like the creme de la crop. You know what I mean? Like, he's up there.
Exactly. He was in Caddyshack, man. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, you don't get rid of Caddyshack actors.
No. Now I want Coast to Coast Death Claw. I could totally see that.
It's basically what you got. That was like one thing that annoyed me at Fallout 4 because I was expecting, because I live in New England. I'm less than an hour away from Boston. I was expecting to see some like mutated local animals. I'm like, what the fuck is this fucking Deathclaw from Mariposa doing in the Boston Commons? Like, I know they're badass, but it did not make it that far.
Right. Yeah. Oh man.
Like Yogwai, all the Yogwai that they had there was cool, but rad scorpions in the middle of Boston, no, ain't fucking happening, guy.
Right.
Could have done some mutated cockroaches or something. We have plenty of those.
Right. Yeah, that couldn't have been a thing instead. But alrighty, guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and sign off for today. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I definitely appreciate it. It's been actually a little bit longer of a show than I thought it was going to be. But
yeah, we went.
Hell yeah.
But it's been fun.
That historical argument.
Oh, I know. That one got...
Yeah, that one dragged us a little bit.
What, the Battlefield 5 nonsense?
Yeah.
We're going to be back here in about an hour here on... I will be back here in about an hour or so, hour and a half here on FatB TV for a stream today. We were going to be doing a review on 2 Point Hospital, but I think we're going to be changing up to either Destiny or possibly one of the betas that are out today for Splitgate, Arena, or even Battle Royale, which was another one that I haven't gotten to try yet. It's only on a limited beta today. So I was going to see what we
go on Destiny. I'll join you. Maybe Battle Royale. I'll join you.
If I had Destiny, I would play with you.
If you had Destiny, maybe I see.
I might set up my Destiny 2 today and come join you guys.
So we'll see what it is. We'll come back here in about an hour, guys and gals, if you guys want to join us for some games here in about an hour. So we'll see. I got to go get some food and kind of unwind a little bit, and we'll be back at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so about an hour and 7 minutes from now. But yeah, we'll see you all here in a little bit. Have a good one, guys and gals.